Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. My name is Lieutenant Stephen Ward, and I have the honor to be the Master of Ceremonies for tonight's event. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. In case of an emergency, I'd like to point out the exits. The locations for the exits are on both sides of the building, as well as directly behind you. Also, Frederick County IIT Video Services, the FCG-TV, will be recording tonight's ceremony and will broadcast on Frederick County Cable Channel 19 for future viewing. Please allow me to introduce our guests, as well as thank them for their attendance and various levels of support for our organization. Tonight with us, we have County Executive Jessica Fitzwater, John Peterson, Chief Administrative Officer of Frederick County, Chief Thomas Coe, Chief of the Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services, Dr. Jeffrey Fillmore, Medical Director, Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services, Dr. Ryan McFaig, Associate Medical Director for Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services, Deputy Chief Kenneth Poole, Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services, Deputy Chief Michael Darwick, Chief of the Volunteer Fire and Rescue Services, Assistant Chief Troy Grossnickel, Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services, Battalion Chief Frank Malta of Training. He's Battalion Chief of Training, Frank Malta, there we go. Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue. Battalion Chief of EMS, Michael Cole, Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services. And again, special thanks goes out to a few organizations and other supporting casts. Frederick Health Hospital, I don't know if anybody came, but Meritus Medical Center, the Maryland Institute of Emergency Medical Service Systems, the University of Maryland Medical Center R. Adams Shock Trauma Center, the University of Maryland Medical Center Midtown Campus, and the University of Maryland Medical Center Upper Chesapeake Campus. Without their support for the clinical partners, this program would not have been a success as it was. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor now to introduce the Honorable Jessica Fitzwater, Frederick County Executive.
Well, good evening, everyone, and congratulations to Frederick County's newest paramedics. I am truly honored to be here this evening on behalf of all the residents of Frederick County to celebrate your dedication and commitment to serving our community. Today, we are honoring a truly remarkable group of dedicated individuals who successfully completed one of the most rigorous and demanding paramedic training programs. Since January, members of our Paramedic Class 11 have studied a range of various subjects from anatomy and physiology to legal and ethical issues that you may face in the field. The training for this program demanded an extraordinary investment, over 2,000 hours. You're all looking at me like I'm not telling you anything you don't already know because you lived it. But it's important, I think, for us to say truly the commitment that it takes to do what you all have achieved. That training include classroom instruction, distance learning, lab practice, and experience in hospitals, clinical, and medic unit settings. So thank you for the quality work and dedication that you have demonstrated throughout this journey. Today is more than a graduation. It's a celebration of growth and your unwavering commitment to serve others in their most critical moments. The Fire and Rescue Paramedic Program plays a vital role in improving emergency care across our county. By training more paramedics through our in-house program, we're able to respond faster, which results in better outcomes during critical emergencies. With this graduating class, we'll be able to launch 2 new paramedic engines in areas that previously had only 1 unit. This not only strengthens coverage, but also eases the workload on current crews, reduces burnout, and boosts our system's overall flexibility and resilience. But most importantly, it ensures that our community can count on advanced care being close by when it's needed the most. Being a paramedic means saving lives and offering comfort during some of the hardest moments that people will face. With your new skills come great responsibilities, not just medical, but human. Patients and their loved ones will remember you, how you treated them, the kindness you showed, and the respect that you gave. So on behalf of everyone in Frederick County, thank you. I also want to be sure to thank the people who helped you along the way. Program Manager, Captain Ann Jonikin, Class Coordinator, Lieutenant Anthony Gramaccioni, and your instructors, Lieutenant Brittany Moravec and Firefighter Paramedic Robert DeGrange. And of course, your friends and families, not just for being here, but for their support along this incredible journey. Thank you all for helping them to get here. Being a paramedic is truly a commendable calling, and I deeply appreciate your decision to serve in Frederick County. So on behalf of all the residents of Frederick County, thank you and congratulations on this incredible achievement.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Chief Thomas Coe to the podium for the opening remarks.
Good evening. I would like to join the county executive in sharing my congratulations with the graduates on the successful completion of the 2025 Paramedic Educational Program. Today, we celebrate the accomplishments of 6 public safety professionals as they have each successfully completed what is without a doubt the most challenging and intense training program offered in the fire service. Paramedics are truly incredible individuals when you think about it. While the skills they perform, the medications they administer, and the protocols they follow are similar to others in the medical field, our paramedics perform those skill sets in the most austere of environments. They perform critical life-saving interventions in muddy ditches, in the middle of snowstorms, underneath tractor trailers on the interstate highway, and miles up a mountain trail. Those added environmental complexities make the job of a paramedic like none other in the medical field. For Frederick County paramedics, there truly is not a normal day at the office. The Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services is regarded as one of the top emergency medical service programs in the state of Maryland. EMS response makes up more than 80% of our annual workload. With your graduation today, you have stepped up to take on a new role with increased responsibility that will ensure that the reputation of Frederick County Emergency Medical Services is maintained well into the future. I would like to join the county executive in taking a moment to recognize the members of our staff who were key to their success. Captain Ann Jonikin, Lieutenants Anthony Gramaccioni, Lieutenant Brittany Moravec, and Instructor Rob DeGrange. Job well done on putting forth another outstanding class of paramedics to serve the citizens of Frederick County. But as the county executive said, the support of the family, friends, and loved ones of our paramedic students is what is really the critical piece to ensure their success. I'm sure it's been challenging as the graduates returned home from class stressed and emotionally drained. There have most likely been family events missed so clinical appointments could be made or so that the students could study for the next big test. Graduates, there is no doubt that your success in this program was made possible due to the love and support of your family members, so please join me in showing our gratitude for them. Graduates, I thank each of you for your hard work, your commitment, and dedication to the program over the last year. You have attained a new skill set that includes vast amounts of knowledge in so many different categories. But what is more amazing is the intangibles of crisis management that you have attained through this process. Critical decision-making, stress management, and leadership traits that paramedics acquire through their initial certification are critical to your success in the field. These new paramedics are resilient and ready to handle any incident that comes their way. It's now my distinct honor to introduce tonight's keynote speaker. Dr. Jeffrey Fillmore has been a fixture in Frederick County Emergency Services for 4 decades. That's right, 2025 represents his 40th year of commitment to the health and well-being of Frederick County. Dr. Fillmore graduated from the University of Utah School of Medicine in 1979. He moved to Maryland and worked for more than 30 years as an emergency room physician at Frederick Now Health Hospital, retiring in 2014. He began serving as Frederick County's Emergency Medical Services Medical Director in 1985. Additionally, Dr. Fillmore serves as the Maryland Institute for Emergency Medical Services Systems Region 2 Medical Director and sits on the Maryland State Emergency Medical Services Advisory Council. There is no doubt that our success as an EMS agency in the state is directly attributed to Dr. Fillmore's caring and dedication to our program. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's keynote speaker, Dr. Jeff Fillmore.
Do I look old enough to be here 40 years? It's okay to say yes. Absolutely okay. I've been waiting about 12 months to give this little speech here. I remember interviewing you all, along with Ann Jonikin and Scott Gordon, maybe. And I thought back then we had a pretty good group here. I thought we had, what did we start with? 13, 15, 17? But I thought we had a great group. I guess what we should appreciate here is that we have, if that was a good group, this is the best of the best. And I think the fact that a smaller than usual number may have made it through, I think that's just testament to how hard you've studied and what you put into it, because it's so easy to fail. I mean, it's a lot easier to fail the paramedic course than it is to make it from beginning to end. It's meant to be that way. It has to be because of what you have to learn. I'm also happy that we have one person with a Swiss name in the group. It's what Paramedic Stolzfuss. It's a good Swiss name. I spend every September in Switzerland, so I have a lot of exposure to Swiss and Swiss names. What I'd like to talk about tonight is what makes a good paramedic. And I think there's a lot of things that go into it. And I know that everybody here wants to be the best. I know there's nobody here, and I think the fact that you just made it through the course is testament to the fact that you want to be good paramedics, not people that just want to get by and fly by the skin of their teeth or the seat of their pants. You're all smart. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here today. But is that enough? It's certainly a great foundation. So what a good paramedic is not. Good paramedic is not someone who values being a good old boy over doing the right thing. Someone who's following the crowd rather than what's doing right. It's not somebody who's a gossip, who talks about other paramedics behind their backs around the dinner table. It's not someone who's lazy, that doesn't put in the time to stay up on things, to keep their skills up. So having said that, let's talk about what you do want to be. I think the very first thing you want to be is someone who loves what you do. I really envy you that you can get up every third day and have that feeling, I can go out today and I can intervene in someone's worst moment of their life, in someone's scary situation, and you can calmly pull them through with aplomb. and that you not only make their day, you may be making their life. I mean, that's really something. We don't really think about it that often because we get into the humdrum of things where, we do this every day, so big deal, right? But it's not a big deal. And the public will tell you that. They have a different perspective than you have. Good paramedic knows your medicine and you know your protocols. I mean, that's a foundation. And I mention that now because you've learned the protocols, but guess what? If you don't keep studying them, you'll forget them because you're not going to do all of them every day. So I would take some time every time you're in the station find a partner and team up with them and take an hour, go over protocols, take turns being the paramedic. That's the way you keep them fresh. I mean, there's ones you'll do frequently. Those aren't the hard ones. The hard ones are the ones you don't do so often. My model in this regard was one Danny Hughes. Danny Hughes was a paramedic in PG County, but he lived up in Wolfsville and ran with the Wolfsville companies up there. Danny was always learning new things. He was reading things all the time. He'd come up to me and mention things to me about something new in paramedicine. I had no idea. But Danny probably knew more about it than by far than I did, and probably knew more about some of the things just in medicine, period. The problem is medicine changes. That's part of the problem. Let me give you an example. When I was a resident, and it was kind of in the early days of advanced cardiac life support, ACLS. We, back then, part of the Bible of ACLS was that everybody needed a central line, everybody in cardiac arrest. So we'd put in every single patient, we'd put a catheter about this long, like a 14 gauge catheter over needle, into the internal jugular vein or in their subclavian, everybody. Imagine that if we were doing that still. But we found that, that seemed like a great idea because it got whatever you're giving the patient quickly into the heart. But we found that if you gave it into a good-sized vein in an extremity, that would be just as good if you're doing good circulation. So we dropped that. Every patient back then got bicarb. Didn't matter what kind of cardiac arrest you had or what we thought was the matter with you. If you're in arrest, you got bicarb. Later on, we find out that giving bicarb is not good for everybody. So that was several years later, but things change. So you want to stay up on everything. I think the trick to all this is to enjoy learning. If you're a person that enjoys learning, you're in the right profession, because you should always be learning and you should always be enjoying it. If I might quote Dave Chisholm up in Washington County, he likes to say something, speaking of people that kind of don't enjoy learning, he says he doesn't know what he doesn't know. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy who doesn't know what he doesn't know. But you'll only know it if you discipline yourself to always be learning. So a good paramedic also masters his skills. And I don't think that's a one-time thing either. I mean, if you've developed good IV skills, you got good airway skills, keep changing airway techniques anyway on you, but if you're not keeping those skills up, you'll lose them. I guarantee you'll lose them. IOs, we get new vents, you gotta learn to use that. We're gonna, at some point, probably have new monitor defibrillators for you. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to learn, but you wanna be the man or woman that can just be able to automatically know where all the buttons are, who knows exactly what your possibilities are, and you also have a slick technique for everything. Good paramedic's also a great teammate. It's the paramedic that arrives on the scene, and if he's not the first one there, and if he's not necessarily even in charge, but the first words out of his mouth are what? How can I help? That's being a good teammate. How can I help? I got a little buzz on my phone. It's turned down, thank goodness. But in paramedicine, as well as in emergency medicine in the ER, it's very similar. Everybody pitches in. Probably a year or two before I stopped working in Frederick's ER, I asked a young nurse if she wouldn't help me with something, and what did she say to me? She says, "That's not my job." Whoa, was I taken aback. I didn't yell at her. I just said it may not be your job, but you're in the ER and everybody works together. You drop whatever you're doing unless it's really important and you pitch in, because sometimes we need all hands on deck. Now, that's the way it is out in the field, right? So even if you arrive and you kind of get the feeling like, oh, they got enough people here already, I'll just hang back and kind of kibitz with my friends. Still, I'd go up and ask, can we be of help? Is there anything you need us for? If not, we'll be standing by. And keep your eyes focused on who's in charge so that if he needs you, he can get your attention. A good paramedic communicates well. Patient reports. I know it's a big bugaboo. I know it's scary to be on the radio. But you're going to get an experience here over the next 6 or more months where you get to refine all your techniques, including reports, with a safety net. You'll have a preceptor there. So this is when you get to take charge if you're feeling like you can, and hopefully we'll kind of push you to where you do feel like you can, because we feel like you can pretty much now. But giving orders is something you can practice now. Giving reports is something you can practice now. Practice now, maybe that time when you're doing exercises with protocols in the station, give a practice report on that patient to the other paramedic or to the other provider. If you're giving orders and you can practice now, learn people's names. Call people by name. That makes a huge difference. If you actually call them by name, they know you know who they are. Helps them feel important, and then they're happier to help you, right? I think if you've all been EMTs, you probably all remember that same sort of feeling. And be clear. Giving orders clearly is something you can develop so that people understand exactly what you want. On written orders, there never was a class, right, in high school in writing paramedic reports. But work on it, have a system. We had one paramedic years ago who really was awful with reports, including terrible spelling. We couldn't tell what some of the words were he wrote down. But he got himself a little dictionary and he kept it with him all the time. And he improved, he got better with time. The trick here, I think, is to be able to take criticism. Don't be thin-skinned, can't do that. Got to take criticism, practice, and ask for feedback. How was my report? Do you think I did that well? Read over my report. Tell me if you think it's good. Tell me where I could improve. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Absolutely not. We respect it. A good paramedic's humble. I'll tell you a funny little story. Back when I was in college, some of my classes actually started with an opening prayer. And I was in a class, it was a graduate seminar, and I did this for several semesters. The professor was somebody who was world-renowned as somebody that could understand. He spoke about 8 dead languages because it was essential to being able to read what was written in stone in other places so that he could understand things from 1,000 or so years ago. And just a brilliant fellow. And so he asked someone to give the prayer one day, and he went over and closed the door and stood by it so nobody would walk in. And this person was so thrilled to be in the class that he started in his prayer talking about how it was a great privilege to be in this man's presence and talking about what a wonderful man he was. And as I was sitting there, I heard this quiet little voice in the corner over by the door say, "Shucks." It was Professor Nibley. He was actually as humble as he was amazing. Humility is when you can realize that sometimes you need help in paramedicine, be it with skills, with concepts, with personal issues. Humility is a good thing, I promise you. You have help all around you. You'll have BLS providers to help you. You'll have a paramedic that's usually another paramedic on the scene. Maybe he's coming on the engine. You have a supervisor. Not a sign of weakness to ask for help. It shows good judgment, and we appreciate that. A paramedic stays cool. He doesn't panic, or she doesn't panic. So I remember nurses in the emergency room used to ask me once in a while, I had this happen several times, they said, "Dr. Fillmore, how come you never get excited?" Maybe it was because I was tired that day, but no, I didn't. How come you never yell? And I just basically told them, it doesn't do the patient any good if the doctor gets excited. Same thing with paramedics. I mean, you're okay on the inside if you're a bit excited, and sometimes your adrenaline's going and your heart will be beating fast. But staying cool and handling problems with aplomb and with calmness begins with confidence in your knowledge and knowing you did a good assessment. That's when you can feel like, okay, I'm making the right decision because I've been taught this, I've gone over it, I know the protocol, and I've done an assessment on the patient that I trust myself. So You understand the enormity of your responsibility, but at the same time, you accept it and you use your training and knowledge. That's what allows you to stay cool. A good paramedic's a good leader. And like it or not, you're now leaders. You're now leaders. And if you remember back when you were a BLS provider, you looked up to the ALS providers generally, maybe not always, but in most cases, as leaders. And that's what you are now. And you'll be developing that while you're being precepted. And you'll have good role models. Practice now handling the scene, giving orders politely, and talking to families. Those are all kind of daunting tasks, but we trust that you're up to it, and we'll help you. We'll help you get there. We'll help you get there so you'll be able to do it without having your safety net there. A good paramedic also understands the hierarchy or the chain of command. If you see a problem, if you see a person having problems, talk to the proper person. Otherwise, we can't solve those problems. We can't improve our program. We need to know where the problems are. And you're right there on the ground. You can help us out with that. Otherwise, if you just talk with your buddies about it, and especially if you're complaining, you just become a whiner. You don't want to be a whiner. You want to be part of the program. You want to be helping out. If you're a good friend, you want to help your friends. So talk to your supervisor. Something like, I've noticed Paramedic Smith or Jones, whatever, he seems really tired lately. I'm just worried about him. He must be moonlighting, or maybe he's moonlighting, he's not getting enough sleep. Maybe you could just talk with him and see, what the problem is. Or he's having trouble making decisions. Maybe you could have a word with him. Your supervisor should be the one to talk with him, and they can help with these sort of things. So don't be afraid to use that chain of command correctly. Good paramedic treats others with respect and kindness. And we're talking about patients, families, colleagues. Remember that patients and families are often scared to death. And sometimes they come across as angry, but they're just scared mostly. And you'll learn with time how to defuse those situations. Remember that being kind is not weak. Being kind is compassion, it's strength, it's confidence. So, and it diffuses problems, it doesn't aggravate them. So that's the way to go, be kind. A good paramedic is 100% honest, 100%. And you have credit for that right now, because we don't see anything to the contrary. But the day that you falsify a report or talk to other paramedics or providers about writing something up in a way that sheds a better light on it, you'll lose that. And I guarantee you that integrity that you've got now, all of you, you'll lose it. And it's hard to get back. It's really hard. So just remember that. We respect you, and we will respect you. A good paramedic respects life, all life. And when our medical personnel lose their respect for life, we're done. We're finished. That's the bedrock of the practice of medicine, paramedicine. And lastly, I'll just say that the good paramedic pays attention to appearance. It's part of our professionalism. You're representing the department. Probably all of you by now have had the experience of riding down the street in an ambulance or a fire truck and little kids wave to you. Why do they wave to you? They love you. And part of it's that uniform that you wear and that you wear so well. So don't let them down. So I think most of these things up under maybe just a couple categories. And one is always do what's in the patient's best interest, even though they may not think so. You know what's best for them, so do that. Second is choose good role models, and we have plenty of them in our department. If you see any of them over there rolling their eyes now, that's not that person I'm talking about. But they're not, don't worry. But we have so many good role models. Just choose a good role model and try and be like that person. So I congratulate you. I envy you for what's ahead of you. You're just getting started. Would I like to start all over again? I'm not sure I'd like to start all over again, but I still envy you for what you're embarking upon. And I wish you all the best of luck. Make us proud. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Fillmore. Now I'd like to invite Paramedic Class 11 lead classroom instructor, Lieutenant Morvac, to the podium for a few words.
Good evening, everyone, family, friends, faculty, and of course, my remarkable graduates of Paramedic Class 11. As I stand here today, we're celebrating the 6 of you who made it through this journey, and what a journey it was. 6 strong, capable, and determined individuals who pushed through every late-night study session, every unknown and sometimes painfully long clinical, every nerve-wracking skill test, every half-hour to 3-hour written exam, every "are you kidding me" moment, and every wave of self-doubt that tried to convince you otherwise. You showed up even on the days when your brain felt like it had reached maximum storage capacity. You pushed forward even when you were convinced your eyeballs were going to fall out from reading the paramedic book and the protocols. And you kept going, even when the only thing you wanted in life was a nap, an energy drink, and maybe a snack. You didn't just reach the finish line, you fought for this. You sacrificed for this, and you earned every bit of this moment. And I hope each of you realizes just how proud you should be of yourselves. Somewhere along the way, we learned that paramedic school isn't about IVs, intubations, and EKGs. It's about grit. It's about teamwork. It's about learning who you really are when you're tired, frustrated, and wondering why you ever thought this was a good idea. And it's also about family. Not just the family that we have waiting at home for you, although they are the reason that many of us can do what we do, but the family you build along the way. In this class, we became that kind of family. We've laughed together, struggled together, and sometimes even disagreed like family does. But through it all, we showed up for each other. You guys became my family. The kind of family forged not by blood, but by shared purpose, by hard days and long nights, and by an unspoken promise to always have each other's backs. This class has tested you in ways you probably didn't expect. I know that. I pushed you, challenged you, and I'm fully aware there were moments when you looked at me like I had completely lost my mind. But every time the bar went up, it was because we all saw the potential in you. It was because I believed in who you are and who you're becoming, and I still do. You've heard me say before that as your instructor, I've got your back. That wasn't just something I said to sound supportive in class. I meant it. I had your backs during this program, and I'll continue to have them throughout your careers. Whether you're facing a tough call, a tough shift, or a tough day, I'll always be rooting for you because your success isn't just something I hope for, it's something I expect and something I'm deeply invested in. Now let's talk a little bit about what it really means to me to be a teacher and a leader. Being a teacher isn't just about giving lectures or grading tests. It's about lighting a spark, helping others see something in themselves they may not have realized was there. It's about standing beside people when they doubt themselves and showing them that they're stronger than they think. Being a leader isn't about being in charge. It's about lifting others up, helping them find their confidence, and reminding them that even when they stumble, they're still actually moving forward. I once overheard someone say that as an instructor, I just wanted everyone to win, and that I wanted everyone to succeed. And I have to say, they were 1,000% correct. I never wanted to see anybody fail, although I understand failure. I never wanted to see anyone have to quit the program either. But I also believe in backing people up when they have to make a big decision for their family and for their lives. Each of you taught me something too. You reminded me why this job matters. Not just the job of paramedic, but the job of shaping paramedics. You reminded me that behind every uniform and every patch, there's a human being, learning, growing, and pushing themselves to be better. Now I'd like to take a moment to speak to each of my students individually. Antoine Taylor, I hope I taught you a little something about time management and maybe what it really means to be overstimulated. You've learned that chaos doesn't have to control you. You can control it. Eric Stoltzfus, I hope you've learned that there is, in fact, a time and a place. And I think you've also learned that when you use that timing right, your humor and heart make you an incredible teammate. Justin Stern. I hope this class helped you realize that your voice deserves to be heard. Yes, even when you'd rather stay quiet. You have so much to offer, and the rest of us are better off when you actually speak. Down the road, your patients will need you to talk even more than we do. So don't make us beg. They're counting on hearing what you have to say. Chad Butler, I hope you've learned to have that panoramic view, to see not just what's right in front of you, but everything happening around you. You've got the awareness and the instincts to be a phenomenal medic. Clayton Myers, I hope you've learned that sometimes subtly, yes, that word, doesn't cut it. Being blunt, being transparent, those things can open doors, build trust, and help others truly understand your intent. Don't be afraid to be direct, especially to me when I've talked too long. Nicole Taylor, last but absolutely not least. I hope you've learned that in the moments when life felt unbearably heavy, you were never as close to breaking as you feared. You carried more on your shoulders than most people will ever understand, and you still showed up with heart, determination, and grace. Sometimes the hardest moments in our lives become the foundation we grow from, and you've shown that in a way that is nothing short of inspiring. I hope you know how proud I am of your strength, your resilience, and the compassion you bring to this profession. And while I've spent a lot of time talking about what you have learned, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the people who have helped me get here, the ones who supported me, challenged me, and allowed me the space to grow right alongside you. First and foremost, to my husband and my kids, thank you for being endlessly patient and understanding. Thank you for dealing with my unpredictable schedule, for forgiving the mornings I missed snuggles and school drop-offs, the nights I missed ball games, and for loving me even when I came home looking like I'd been run over by a stretcher. Your support made every long day, every long night, and every early morning possible. I truly couldn't have done any of this without you guys. Captain Jonikin, thank you for giving me the opportunity to try something new in my career. You gave me this chance even when I was over there questioning my life choices and Googling how to teach adults without losing your mind. Firefighter Rob DeGrange, thank you for teaching me the ropes on how to lead a class. You showed me not only what to do, but also what not to do. And sometimes you kept me from saying the things I shouldn't. Lieutenant Gramaccioni, thank you for being my right-hand man. You were always willing to step up, support me, and help the students no matter what the day brought. Your steady presence and willingness to jump in wherever needed made all the difference, more times than either of us probably realized. And to my students again, thank you for the effort you poured into this class. Every late night study session, every moment of doubt, every small victory, you showed up, you pushed yourselves, and you never stopped trying. Even when you acted like I had personally offended you by giving you yet another morning assessment or practical scenario. You still did the work, and you did it well. You're ready to be in the calm in the chaos, ready to be the difference between fear and hope, ready to be the paramedics your patients and this community can rely on. Now, before I wrap up, I need to say this loud and clear. None of you are borderline. You've all earned your place here today. You've all proven you have the knowledge, the skill, and most importantly, the heart to do this job. So to the 6 of you, congratulations. You didn't just survive paramedic school, you conquered it. And I couldn't be prouder to have been part of that journey. And now it is my honor to introduce someone who has shown incredible determination, resilience, and leadership throughout this program. She's been a steady presence through the highs and the lows, and she's proven time again that strength doesn't always come from never breaking. It comes from finding the courage to keep going when things get hard. Please join me in welcoming the valedictorian of Paramedic Class 11, Nicole Taylor. Hope you have numbers.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us here today as we celebrate the successful completion of Paramedic Class 11. My name is Nicole Taylor, and I have the pleasure of serving as this year's class valedictorian. I'm sorry, I hate public speaking. We embarked on this journey in January, eager, motivated, and ready to accept the challenges that we knew lay ahead. We expected long nights, early mornings, and moments where material felt impossible. And yet, here we are, not because the path was easy, but because we refused to give up. We pushed through the stress, the doubts, the countless hours of studying. Each of us joining this journey at similar points in our careers, all of us less than 3 years on the job. But together we bonded over the shared goal to expand our knowledge and skill sets so that we could better serve the community of Frederick County. That choice alone speaks volumes about the kind of people in this class. Our year was filled with 6 information-packed modules, countless lifelike practical scenarios that required fast, critical thinking, and clinical rotations in various hospitals and medic units. Our in-class practical evolutions were where I felt I developed the most as a student, but also laughed the most. For more context, we often utilize coworkers from the field as partners and live patients to bring a more realistic feel to the classroom. And let me tell you, their acting skills were sometimes Oscar-worthy. I'm also fairly certain I'm still rinsing hot chocolate mix out of my hair, and a few of my classmates may never get those peanut butter stains out of their uniforms. But through these evolutions, we failed, we retried, sometimes we failed again. But nothing felt more rewarding than finally getting it right. Nailing your on-scene, your treatment, and your transport decisions, and watching all of the pieces of our curriculum and practice fall into place in the subtle nod of approval from preceptors and lead instructors. Our clinical rotations took us everywhere, from level 1 trauma centers to local emergency rooms, and even into specialty departments such as pediatrics, labor and delivery, and the cath lab. These experiences gave us the chance to take what we practice in the classroom and apply it to real patients. Although we attempted to simulate calls as realistically as possible in the classroom, nothing prepares you more for the real life than real life experiences and mistakes. And that's why here I want to take a moment to thank our field preceptors and anyone who precepted us in the hospitals. You gave us the space to build rapport with our patients, develop differential diagnoses, and come up with treatment plans, while also somehow knowing exactly when to step in, when to let us figure it out, and when to gently redirect us before we completely went off the rails. Without these preceptors, we would have been lost, probably literally, because their willingness to teach us is what kept us on track and moving forward. But through the intensity and exhaustion of this past year, PC11 still found ways to have fun. We found joy in the little things, like wondering what Taylor was going to bring for breakfast, and how many cups of coffee Butler was going to consume, while also keeping track of how many movie quotes he'd sneak into class by the end of the day. We learned that Stern loves his grass about as much as Myers loves kava. And of course, we can't forget Stoltzfus and his trusty aid bag. I think it's safe to say that we all still don't know what a borderline QRS is, but at least we have this inside joke to keep us laughing for years to come. No speech is complete without a series of thank yous. I would first like to thank the chief staff present today, as well as Captain Jonikin, firefighter paramedic DeGrange, for giving us the educational opportunity through the division to better ourselves as employees and public servants of the citizens of Frederick County. Thank you to all the instructional staff, professional partners, and live patients that assisted with our class. Your willingness to provide your time, lessons learned from the field, and expertise in various subjects to enhance our educational experience did not go unnoticed. To the friends and family gathered here today, I want to thank you on behalf of my entire class for the selfless sacrifices I know you all made along our journey. Today would not be as special without you here, so thank you. Lieutenant Gramaccioni, your quiet determination and unwavering work ethic have been an inspiration to all of us. No matter what role you've assumed in the division, you've approached it with precision and an exceptional attention to detail, giving it your all without hesitation, no matter how big or small. Even when the journey got tough, you kept us uplifted, yet remained steadfast in holding us to the highest standards. Your example of balance between compassion and discipline has shaped us and we will continue to guide us through our career. Thank you. Lieutenant Morvac, from day one, you always vouched for us, stood up for our best interests, and ensured we felt supported and heard every step of the way. Whether we needed guidance, encouragement, or just someone to listen, you were always there with open arms and unwavering support. I know personally I would not be standing here today if it weren't for you and your support during a time when I experienced a tremendous loss of someone I cared for deeply. You helped us not only feel prepared, but truly seen. Your care and dedication made this class feel like a small family, and for that, we will forever be grateful. And finally, to my classmates, thank you. Thank you for the laughter, the challenges, and all of the memories that have made this year unforgettable. We've all played a part in shaping each other's journeys, and together we step into the next step of our career. I'm excited for what each of us will achieve, but I will never forget that it was with you all that I learned, grew, and found a sense of belonging. So here's to us. Our journey isn't over. It's just the beginning. Thank you for being part of mine. Thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful remarks. At this time, we will have the presentation of the paramedic class certificates of graduation. ALS Program Director, Captain Jonikin, please prepare your class for presentation.
Paramedic Class 11, attention.
Chief Co, Deputy Fire Chief Poole, Deputy Fire Chief Darwick, Assistant Chief Gross-Nickel, Battalion Chief Cole, Battalion Chief Malta, Dr. Fillmore, and Dr. McFay will be presenting the graduation certificates. If the dignitaries will please form a line to congratulate the graduates, and then if everybody can hold their applause till the end, that'd be great. But cheer if you want. It's an exciting time. Chad Butler. We gotta take that. Yeah, but it's a small group. Everybody's excited. Go with it. Clayton Myers. Justin Stern. Eric Stolfoots. I tried. It was close, right? It was close? Close. Okay. Antoine Taylor. Nicole Taylor. And one last time, let's hear it for Paramedic Class 11. Thank you, and now Chief Co will come forward for his final remarks.
You made it. It's almost over. As new paramedics, it's imperative that you realize the amazingly awesome responsibility that lies before you. We are placing the community into your hands to care for in their time of need. Somewhere in Frederick County right now, someone's wondering, if they call 911 for a critical medical emergency, who will be that person that shows up? And that answer is simple. That answer is you. You are now the person that will be looked to provide quick, effective, and decisive life-saving interventions at someone's most desperate moment. But know that your journey to become a paramedic has not ended, but in fact just begun. Paramedics, like most in our service, are required to be lifelong learners to ensure that they stay up to date on the newest trends and technologies in our industry. I encourage you to always keep learning and honing your craft to ensure that the citizens of Frederick County always receive the top-notch care that they deserve. Above all, remember that a large part of caring for your patients is caring about your patients. Listen to them, be compassionate, and be sure to be their advocate. Members of Paramedic Class 11, congratulations on the successful completion of your initial paramedic training. I wish you well in all your future endeavors and look forward to seeing you out on the street, putting your new skills to work. Let's give Frederick County's newest paramedics one more round of applause. This concludes tonight's ceremony. Thank you all for attending. So glad to share this moment with all the family and friends in attendance. Thank you.